Right, everybody, this is the press conference reaction for Ruben Amorim's game versus Nottingham Forest. We'll be talking about what he said. He talks about what his strongest team could be. We'll be talking about the Nottingham Forest game, players returning, and much, much more. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you are new. Now, let's get straight into it. I think it was a very interesting press conference. If you didn't watch it, check it out. I think it will be all over MUTV and on the Manchester United app as well. I think it certainly was a press conference where Ruben Amorim gave a lot. Obviously, the game against Forest is obviously another tough game, which I'll preview as well later on. But what he had to say is, he's talking about his 11, but he talked about team news. And the first thing he said is Jonny Evans is still not training. Victor Lindelof has returned to training but isn't available for tomorrow. Maybe in the next game he will be available now. Listen, Manchester United obviously play 3 centre-backs. It's good to have all the centre-backs back we possibly can. Jonny Evans is someone who, listen, Amorim knew and probably has learned can't play in that left centre-back role. Lindelof, the fact that he's back for training, I think he'll still be someone that would sell. But yeah, the fact he's back, we need all the centre-backs we can get. Now, he talked about United's league position. He said it's sad because it's a very competitive league. It can change with just one result. We have to pass this phase, so I feel the same way. Because before the Arsenal game, you guys were asking about top 4, and now we return to this position, which is obviously 13th. He said on bouncing back, he said we have to remain calm and keep doing the job we're doing. He said, this was the big thing that I learned. He said, Amorim on if he knows his best 11. More or less, yes, we have to have an idea, but we have to manage the players returning and we have to manage the load. Listen, I think his strongest team is certainly known. I think it's Onana in goal. I think De Ligt would be central. Yoro right, Martinez left. I think he would want to bring in the left wing back. For now, it would probably be Delo out there. With Ahmad right wing back, I think his strongest midfield two would be Ugarte and Mainu. And with Bruno and Rashford and Højlund, I think that would be his strongest team. And I think that he would talk about, but obviously he knows, I think we will see as the time goes on, less players getting rotated and ultimately more of his idea being instilled. He talked about Bruno Fernandes and Manuel Ugarte. He said, Bruno Fernandes, you feel against Arsenal, he was tired in the end, but you know he will recover. If you talk about Manuel Ugarte, I've known him for a long time and he needs a little bit more time. So that kind of does say that Manuel Ugarte will not start against Forest tomorrow. I think that certainly is very interesting, what we do in that midfield and with the dynamic and the sort of things that's going on there. I think it is very, very fascinating. I think Amorim talks with a lot of confidence. But in a game like this, we're going to need the midfield legs. And do I trust Mainu and Bruno? No. Do I trust Casemiro and Mainu? Not really, but I think that's the strongest we really have to go with in a game like this. But yeah, Manuel Ugarte, he has revealed that he probably won't start this game, so that's something to kind of talk about there. On the lesson to take from the Arsenal game, he said it's really hard. I learned the same with the wins because I focused on the performance. He said we won 4-0 against Everton, but I saw many things that were wrong. I saw some against Arsenal, and that's ultimately is correct. Listen, the game against Everton where we won 4-0, it still wasn't a perfect game. Yes, we won 4-0, we kept the clean sheet, but there was still little teething issues that Amorim will obviously look at and develop. I think it was a game where Manchester United massively did struggle, particularly against Arsenal, in large parts of the game. And I think it was fascinating to see the performance that we did put in against Arsenal. I think the game against Forest will certainly be an interesting one. I think Forest are a decent side, and I think Amorim will look to learn a lot from his squad again and his team. I think the team have massively struggled in games. And I think this Forest one could be a difficult one if we don't play correctly. Listen, we do take things, we do take positives, we do take the negatives. I thought particularly against Everton we showed we can score goals and we showed we can be in the attacking third. Against Arsenal, a top 6 team, we showed we can be compact, frustrate the team, but ultimately we didn't show anything in the final third. So they're positives and negatives to take from both games. But yeah, that's that. Now the last thing he said we need time to think. We don't have much time to train and we have to prepare for the next opponent. But when I see the team, I think we're improving in some aspects. Listen, it's very difficult for Amorim to get his principles across. He has a game every 3 days now until I think January or even longer than that. He has to manage the load, which he's talked about, rotation. But he also talks about no excuses. And that's ultimately something that Amorim, I like when he talks about it. I think certain managers, previous managers, have let excuses get in the way of them. And that's ultimately something that you don't want at Manchester United, something that you don't want to see. And I think it's very, very fantastic the way that Amorim talks about football, and particularly in the Manchester United way. But ultimately, they were the main things from the press conference. He talked, I think the best thing that we learned from here is his best 11. And I think, as I said, as the games go on, you will see that less rotation and a strongest 11 come into things. Listen, let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Peace.